could be a bit weird, but you can use nothing, but it might just be a little bit more tricky. So we're going to start with our usual setup position anyway, just to find our core and neutral pelvis. So standing, feet hip width apart, knees nice and soft. If you're unsure, just lock the knees and then just soften them. And we're just going to roll that weight forwards, over the balls of the feet and back over the heels. Just find that balance, find that central point. Just shifting the weight forwards and backwards. Try not to grip with the toes as we come forwards. Try let the core be the one to stop you toppling over, and then back to centre. So on this next one, we're going to find that core engagement. We're going to maintain that core engagement and then bring it back to centre. So weight's nice and evenly distributed throughout the feet, throughout the foot, and then finding neutral with the pelvis. So hands on the hips, knees maybe a little bit softer than before, and we're just going to really squeeze that tailbone between the legs. Try to create some flexion in that lower spine. Nice little stretch out of that lower spine, and then arching, really sticking that tailbone out behind, squeezing under, and then arching out back. Let's just go for a couple more. Really scooping in those lower abdominals, so really allow the core to pull that tailbone under, and then stick it out behind. And then we're going to find that middle ground, so just slightly tucking the tailbone between the legs, engaging through that pelvic floor, so lifting up through that pelvic floor, sliding the shoulder blades down and back, and drawing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then we're just going to shoulder roll, so just bringing the shoulders up, down, and back. So really big rolls with the shoulder. Really slide those shoulder blades down into the back pockets of the jeans. And last one, sliding shoulder blades down and back. Right, take a nice inhale breath, taking it up into full body stretch, reaching up for the ceiling, keeping that core nice and strong. Arms above the head. We're going to bring it up onto the tiptoes, lifting it up towards the ceiling with the crown of the head, and then just slowly placing the heels back down onto the floor. So try not to lean forward, we're just coming up and down, waking up the calves, and exhale as we come back down. Let's take it up one last time. Reach, 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 coming down with the heels nice and softly, and then taking it into a side bend. So just leaning over, finding that length into the side of the waist, take a nice inhale breath into that stretch, and then exhale, can't speak, allow the obliques to bring you back to centre. Let's take it down to the other side, lengthen, 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 inhale breath, exhale, really allow the obliques to bring you back up and over, bringing the arms down to the side. If you have got a chair or something, just pop the fingertips on the chair, don't worry if you haven't. We're going to bring the feet into turnout, so making that V shape with the feet, and we're going to zip up from the heels all the way up to that pelvic floor, lifting up through that pelvic floor as well, and then coming up onto the tiptoes if we can, lift, and then we're going to go into that plie, so the knees are going to go out to the side, create that diamond shape with the leg, that's it, sliding up and down. Imagine we've got that brick wall behind us, and then back up and pop the heels back down. Let's go for 3 more of those. So a lift and lower, knees travel out. I think I've lost somebody. And exhale, coming back up. Bring those heels back down. Last one. Up we come. Knees travel out, coming down into that plie squat. Inhale and exhale as we slide back up and bring those heels down. So keeping the legs zipped together, you should feel an engagement in the core, almost like we're shrink wrapping the glutes. With this outside leg, we're going to slide the leg, keeping it as straight as we can, staying in turnout with the foot, and then straight leg as it comes back in. So inhale, breath, slide out. Exhale, breath, slide in. You'll feel that in the inner thighs. Slide, so we don't want any bending in the knee, and zip back together. Let's go for one, last one, sliding back. Take that leg back out to the side, bring the heel down to the floor, just widen the stance, staying in our turnout position, we're going to come down to a wide plie. So again, knees travel out, exhale, pushing back up. On this next one, we're going to stay down. So inhale down, and we're going to heel raise with this heel. So heel raises and lowers. Raise and lower. Perfect. Let's go for 4. Staying nice and low, spines upright. 3, 2, and last one. We're going to stay with the heel raise and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, nearly there. 3, 2, 1, lovely. Heel comes down, slide it back up. Well done. We're going to then turn to face the bar, or no bar, whichever, and we're going to go down into a split squat. So heels raised with this back leg, and we're going to bend through this front knee, lowering that back knee down towards the floor, making sure that tailbone's tucked under. Feel that nice stretch down the front of the thigh and raise. So inhale it down, exhale, pushing through this front heel, coming up and out of that split squat. So we're just literally hovering the knee above the floor. And let's go down for 3 more. 3, 2, and we're going to stay down on this last one, and 1. We're going to hover. If we can, take the hands away from the bar and hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands come back and lift back out. Ooh, give the legs a little bit of a shake out. Exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to start with our slide out. So feet in our turnout position. We're going to slide the left leg straight and then zip legs back together. So engaging through the glutes in that turnout, slide and back together. Let's go for 3 and slide, keeping that knee locked. 2 and 1. We're going to slide out, pop the heel down, take it out a little bit wider, still in turnout, and we're going to come down to a wide plie, knees traveling out. We're going to heel raise with the other heel and lower, up and lower. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Heel stays up and we're pulsing for 8, 7, ouch, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Heel goes down and lift back up. Well done. Turn to face the bar for our split squat, and then we'll get down onto the mat. So heel raise with that back heel, bending through that front knee, hovering that back knee inches above the mat and back up. So inhale as we lower, tailbones tucked under, feel that stretch down the quad. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stay down. We're going to pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover. If we can, take the hands away from the bar for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands come back and lift back up. Well done. Give those legs a really good shake. Sorry, that was awful. And then take away the bar. Oh, my legs are burning after that. Right, now we're going to come to the end of our mat. We're going to take it down into a roll down. So again, find that setup position, tailbones tucked under, spines lengthened, shoulders down and back. Arms just down by the side. Let's make sure Sally's not weighing in that way too. I think she's struggling. Oh, I'm out of breath. I'm going to open that door a bit. So arms down by the side, take a nice inhale breath. As we exhale, start to bring the chin towards the chest, round those shoulders forwards. Keep that tailbone tucked under. Find the space between the vertebrae. Really stretch out through the spine there as we start to roll down towards the floor. We're going down as far as the hamstrings will allow. So just feel that lovely pull into the back of the legs. No creases in the back of the neck. We're just going to hang here just so I can catch my breath. Take an inhale breath as we exhale, drawing up through the pelvic floor. Tummy button towards the spine, peeling back up. Restack one vertebrae at a time in your own time, and then nice big shoulder roll when we reach the top. Take an inhale breath, exhale, chin to chest, shoulders round forward. Tailbone stays tucked under for as long as we can. Really work that C curve. And then again at the bottom, let's just hang here, relax. Relax the forehead, relax the tongue, relax the arms, just flop. Take some nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's just work a little bit of rotation. So we're going to pop a little bend into the left knee, locking out the right knee, bringing the left hand over to the outside of that right ankle, and then bring that right arm up towards the ceiling. Take the gaze with that right arm. So we're looking at that right hand. Don't allow the arm to go over the shoulder, just directly above. And then bring the arm back down again. Going to do that on the other side now. So bending through that right knee, lock out the left knee, bring the right hand over to the outside of the left ankle, lifting up, reaching that arm up towards the ceiling. Don't take it beyond the shoulder. And lower back down. Back into our flop position. We want to bring the hands all the way to the mat. That might involve popping a bend into the knee. And we're going to walk out halfway down the mat. We're going to push it back into our downward dog position. So wrists underneath shoulders. We're going to bring the head through the arms, pushing the heels down, easing the heels down. Feel that lovely stretch into the back of the legs. And then bringing the shoulders back over the wrists. We're going to walk it out all the way to our full plank. So wrists underneath shoulders. Step the feet out a little bit wider. Nice solid plank. We're going to hold it here for 4 breaths. If that's too much, come down into 3/4 plank, onto the knees and hold for 4. 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the knees down if they're not already. Have a sit back into the heels. Really lengthen out through the arms, through the spine. And take some nice deep breaths there. And then we're going to come up, rolling up and out into our 4-point kneeling position. So we're just going to work some leg extensions from this position. So knees are underneath hips, wrists are underneath shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are nice and active, so push the floor away with the hands. We're just going to lengthen out through the left leg, level with the body, squeezing that left glute, making sure those hips are square to the floor, and then bring that knee back underneath the hip. We're going to go with the right side now. So it's a lengthen, reach, squeeze that right glute, bring that knee back underneath the hip. So let's just keep going from one side to the other. Imagine we're balancing a tray of drinks on that lower back. Hips stay square to the floor. Let's go for 2 more to each side. Exhale, breath as we reach. Inhale, breath as we return. Don't worry too much about the breath though. Just keep breathing. And last ones. Reach. Hips stay square. Inhale, bring it back. Last one. Exhale, reach. Inhale, return. Then we're going to work laterally. So I'll just face the front for this one. So wrists stay underneath shoulders, knees stay underneath hips. Again, balance that tray of drinks on the spine. We're going to bring the right leg out to the side, keeping the hips square, so it might not be a massive lift, and then lower back down. Going with the other side, so left side, we squeeze up, open up that hip, and lower it back down. Lovely. Let's just keep that going. Keeping that core on. Squeezing that tummy button up towards the spine. And last one. And bring it back down. So we're going to do that. We're going to lift that, same thing again, right leg out to the side. We're going to come down onto the left elbow and just bring the hand parallel. And then we're going to stay in this position and bring the leg out behind. So legs out to the side, stay nice and high. We're going to take it into that extension and then bring the knee back towards the elbow. So extend and back out. So imagine you've got something high down by the side there. Try not to dip that knee too low. Keep the knee nice and high, almost level with the body. You'll feel the obliques working here to stabilize, because we don't want to be swaying around with the hips. We're going to go for 3 more. 2. And last one. 1. And extend. Bring the knee back underneath the hip. Come back up onto the hands again. This time working left side. So we're going to exhale. Lift that left leg out to the side. We're going to come down to that right elbow. And the knee stays high. And we're going to extend. So knee comes round, knee travels round towards the elbow. And then back out. But try not to sway around with the hips. Really use that core to stabilize that upper body. Let's go for 4. 3. 2. And 1. Extend that leg out behind. Bring the knee back underneath the hip. Have a little sit back into the heels. Quick breather. 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to come up into seated to work some half roll downs and full roll downs. So we're going to sit towards the end of the mat, feet hip width apart, feet to the floor. Actually. So nice and high on the sit bones to begin with. Let's just find that lumbar curve in our lower back. So hands behind the thighs. Inhale, breath. So at this point, we're really on top of those sit bones. As we exhale, pelvis leads. So we tilt the pelvis first and just start to flex that lower spine until we fully extend the arms, really scooping out those lower abdominals. Inhale, breath here, and then exhale, breath as we roll back up onto the top of the pelvis, nice and high on those sit bones. So inhale, breath, exhale, breath as we come down, rolling the back of the pelvis down towards the floor. Think about the waistband of the trousers getting as close to the mat as you can. Inhale, breath here, exhale as we come back up. So now we're going to go halfway down. So scoop, so pelvic tilt, we're rolling halfway down. And we're going to bring the hands behind us, fingers pointing away. So we're not really placing any weight into the hands, they're just there to support us. So core switched on. Using the core, we're going to come up with the right leg into tabletop position. So think of that squeeze of the core rather than a lift of the leg. Make the core do the work and the hip flexor there. So lift and lower. Try not to sink into the shoulders. Keep that chest nice and proud. We've still got that little bit of flexion in the lower spine. Core's working nice and hard. So this is our level 1 exercise. Exhale as we raise. Inhale as we lower. So level 1, carry on with this. If this is enough for you, level 2, we're going to bring one leg up into tabletop. We're bringing the other leg up into tabletop to join it. And then we're going to lengthen and back. Lengthen, really working those hip flexors. Fingers nice and light, almost like we don't need the hands there. They're just simply there for a little bit of balance. That looks good. Let's go for 2 more to each side. 1. And 2. Bringing the legs back into tabletop. We're going to take the hands away from the floor, bringing the arms out level with the shoulders. If this is too much, pop the feet back down onto the mat. Lifting up with the feet, you want to make it a little bit harder. We're then going to raise the arms, so we're on the back of the sit bones. Lift and lower. Nice, Keena. Exhale up. If you're finding it a bit wobbly, bring those toes down to the floor. Let's go for 2 more. Up. Hip flexors will be screaming. Last one. Up we come. And lower back down. Nearly fell over then. Bring the feet down onto the floor. Bring the knees out to the side. Grab hold of the ankles and just release down into a nice spine stretch. Release off those hips there. Good bit of a lower ab work that. Well done. So we're going to continue with some more half roll downs now. So bringing the feet back onto the floor. Again, nice and high on those sit bones to begin with. Bringing the arms out in front this time. Level with the shoulders, shoulders down and back. So again, same principle. We're going to pelvic tilt. As we roll down, we're going to bring the right arm out to the side. So you'll feel the oblique working to stabilise and then bring it back up to centre. This time with the left side, so left arm travels out. And then back to centre again. So there's no rotation here. We're just simply bringing that arm out to the side. And that's it. Exhale it back up. Nice and tall when we reach those sit bones. So that's our level 1 exercise. Level 2, we can roll all the way down. Arm travels out. We're going to bring that arm behind the head and then take it into full roll up, chin to chest and all the way back up again. Nice and tall, those sit bones, left side. So we either continue with the half roll downs or take it down all the way as we come down all the way with the spine. Bring the arm behind the head and then bring it back to centre to pull ourselves back up again. Let's see if we've all got that. Maybe not the best explanation. That's it, Jill. Perfect. Bring that arm behind the head. Head comes down. Exhale, breath, chin to chest. And then pull all the way back up onto those sit bones. Let's do 1 more to each side. And the last one. Inhale, breath. Exhale, arm goes out, spine comes down. Perhaps not all the way, entirely up to you. Arm comes behind the head. Bring the chin towards the chest. Back up onto the sit bones. We're going to roll it all the way down now. No arms going out to the side. So pelvic tilt, rolling down. Find that flexion in the lower spine so we control it all back down to the floor. 1 vertebrae at a time. Lovely. Bring the arms behind the head. Step the feet away from the body. Imagine somebody's pulling the hands and feet in opposite directions. Have a little lift up away from the mat with the spine. Lengthen those abdominals back out. Have a good stretch across the rib cage as we fill the lungs. So next, we're going to do a bit of ab prep. So bringing the feet back up onto the mat, feet hip distance apart. We're going to bring the hands behind the head. So just interlinking the fingers. So the hands are simply there to support the weight of the head. Try not to pull up on the neck. So we're going to take an inhale breath. Spine, I should say as well, pelvis in neutral, so hip bones and pubic bone on the same level. Slight little arch in that lower back there. So take an inhale breath here. As we exhale, we're going to bring the chin towards the chest and lift up away from the mat with the shoulder blades coming up. The pelvis should still be in neutral. Hip bones and pubic bone are level. Inhale breath, exhale, coming back down nice and slowly. So let's just go with that for a few. Exhale, chin to chest. Shoulder blades come away from the floor. Spine's in neutral. If you had a cup of tea in that triangle, it wouldn't be spilling. Hold and lower back down. Let's go with two more. Exhale up. Shoulder blades come away. Inhale, we hold. And exhale, we'll come back down. So we're going to come up on this next one and we're going to stay up. So exhale, chin to chest. Lifting up away from the floor with those shoulder blades. And then we're going to find imprint whilst we're up here. So we're going to imprint the spine so the pubic bone's higher than the hip bones. Knees stay nice and still. And then back to neutral. So it's just a little rock of the pelvis. Imprint, neutral. Imprint, neutral. Let's go for four more. So really working those deep core abdominals on this one. Core is what's controlling the pelvis. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. We're going to come back to neutral spine and then lower the head and shoulders down. So we're going to progress from that. If that was enough for you, stick with this level with the feet on the floor. Next level. Feet, legs come up into tabletop one at a time. Spine's in neutral at the moment. Hip bones are level with that pubic bone. We're going to take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to lift the shoulder blades up away from the mat. Same thing again. We're going to lift the pubic bone, imprint the spine, then back to neutral. So there's hardly any movement. You're really working those deep core abdominals. So it's just a little imprint and then back to neutral. Imprint, back to neutral. Let's go 4. 4 more after this one. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Imprint, imprint, imprint. Back to neutral. Bring the shoulders and the head down. Bring the feet down one at a time. Well done. We're going to bring the arms down by the side of the body now. Bring the feet a little bit closer in towards the bottom. We're going to take it up into shoulder bridge. Give those abdominals a little rest. So again, inhale breath here while we've got that nice neutral spine going on. We're going to then imprint the spine. Lift the pubic bone higher than the hip bones and then start to peel away from the mat with the spine, one vertebrae at a time, always making sure that pubic bone is higher than the hip bones in a shoulder bridge. We've got that tuck under. Knees are nice and steady. Imagine we've got a glass of water on each knee. So squeezing those glutes. Inhale breath here. As we exhale, we're going to float the arms overhead. Nice deep inhale breath here. Try not to let the ribs flare. And then as we exhale, we're bringing the arms back over and slowly controlling that spine all the way down to the floor with control, one vertebrae at a time. Back to neutral, slight arch in that lower spine. Inhale breath, we're going to go back up. So exhale, imprint before we peel. Pubic bone stays nice and high. Squeeze that tailbone under, keep those knees nice and still. Glutes are nice and active. Inhale breath, exhale, float the arms over. Take an inhale breath here. And then exhale, bring the spine back down as the arms come back over. Controlling it all back to the floor. On this next one, we're going to come up and we're going to stay up. Exhale breath, tilt and peel. Squeeze those hips up towards the ceiling. Tuck that tailbone between the legs. We're going to bring the arms up this time, up towards the ceiling, palms facing. And then we're going to come out to the side again with the arms. So good, bring the right arm out to the side. You'll feel the core switch on, so there's no movement from the body. And then exhale, bring it back to center. Going with the left side. Inhale out. Exhale, squeeze it back. So that's our level 1. Level 2, as the right arm comes down, we dip the left hip down towards the floor. A little bit of rotation into the spine. And then exhale as we come back to center, keeping those knees nice and steady. So left arm goes down, right hip drops down. Exhale, squeeze back to center, level up the hips. Does that make sense? Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lower with control. Let's go for 2 more to each side. Right hip lowers, left arm comes out. Squeeze back to center, last ones. Weight driving through the heels. Core's nice and strong. Back to center, well done. Soften through the elbows, bring the arms behind the head. Take an inhale breath, and as we release down to the floor, think about lengthening the spine down along the mat. Controlling it 1 vertebrae at a time until that bottom touches the floor, well done. Grab hold of one knee, grab hold of the other knee, and just pull the knees up towards the shoulders. Have a little rock from side to side there. And release, well done. Bring the feet back down to the floor. We're then going to come into side lying for a little bit more glute work. So we're going to start off with simple climb just to get some external rotation going on. So engaging through the core, making sure ribs and hips the same distance on both sides. There's a slight gap between the waist and the mat. Feet are in line with the bottom. We're just going to start keeping the heels together, lifting and lowering, lifting. Exhale as we lift, inhale as we lower. Rather than a lift, think about a rotation. Think about that ball and socket joint. So we're rotating the leg externally and then bringing it back in. So really squeezing up as high as we can without rolling back on those hips. Have a little check-in with the waist, make sure we're not sunk into the floor. On this next one, we're going to add an extension at the top. So we're going to lift and extend. Bring those heels back together, bring the knees back together. Let's go for 4 more of those just to wake up that glute. Knees. Last 2. Heels and knees. And last one. Open, extend, heels and knees. Well done. Then we're just going to shift the knees up, level with the hips. And this time working the glute slightly differently. Again, waist's nice and active, core's active. We're going to deadlift this top leg, lifting and lowering, making sure the knee and the foot stay at the same level, so the knee doesn't lead or the foot doesn't lead. Everything comes up at the same time. You should start to feel that in the side of the bottom. Let's go for 3. And then we're going to add an extension in on this one as well. 2. And last one. 1. We're going to then extend. And then we're going to tap the toe down towards the floor. Tap the knees together. So the leg doesn't have to be fully straight. I've got a slight bend in my knee, quite tight hamstrings. Let's go for 5 more. Keeping those hips stacked. 4, 3, 2, and last one. 1, and then bending back through the knee, bringing the knees and feet back together again. Give that side of the bottom a bit of a rub there. And then we're going to take it into some oblique work now. So we're going to lengthen both legs away, like we're in one nice straight line. We're going to come up onto the elbow, but making sure the shoulder stays away from the ear. So push the floor away with the elbow. This hand in front for a little bit of support. We're going to exhale as we squeeze the legs up, creating some rolls into this side of the waist, and inhale as we lower back down. So it's an exhale, squeeze. It's not a massive lift at all. You should really feel that there. And inhale, lower back down. So you can take the hand away from the floor if you like. Challenge the balance a little bit. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Try not to sink into that shoulder. Keeping the legs squeezed together, lengthening the legs away. So that's your level 1 exercise. Level 2, as we come up with the legs, we're going to roll onto the bottom and then come up into a mini teaser. And then bring the hand back behind you and then control it back onto the elbow, into that leg raise and lower. Okay, everyone got that? So exhale, that's our level 1. You're just coming up and down with the leg. Level 2, we're rolling onto the bottom cheeks and coming up, bending through the knees, up into our mini teaser. Bring the hand behind, bring the elbow down, lengthen away the legs, keep them lifted and squeeze. Let's go for 3 more of those. So exhale up. If you want to keep the legs straight, make it a little bit harder, you can do. Bring the hand behind, bring the elbow down, bring the hips square, lift and lower. Last 2, lift onto the bum, up, keep the legs straight or bent slightly easier. Hand comes down, lower it back. How are we all getting on? Tricky one. Last one. So rolling it back, lifting up. You probably come off your mat like I have. Have a go at lengthening out through the legs as well. And then coming back to bent knees, staying in that half teaser position. We're going to bring the hands onto the shins and go with rolling like a ball. So take an inhale breath. We're going to roll back to the shoulders and then exhale it back to balance. Inhale it back, just to the shoulders, not to the neck. Exhale, coming back up. Let's go for 2 more. And last one. Inhale it back, nice little spine massage. Exhale, come back up to seated. Lovely. Well done. And then we're going to do all of that on the other side. So, starting with our glute exercise, we're coming into that simple clam position, hips are stacked, feet in line with bottom, core switched on, ribs and hips same distance on both sides. And we're just going to start with that opening of the hip, externally rotating the leg. Inhale as we lower it back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Perfect. Sorry, I've been doing a bit of research, trying to find some new exercises. Do you like that one? Yeah, no? Yeah, good. Lift. And making sure we're not rolling back on that hip. Let's add the extension into this one. Squeeze and lengthen. Really engage with the quad. Bring the heels back together. Bring the knees back together. So we're just simply added in that lengthening of the leg at the top. Feet and knees. Let's go 4-4. Lift. 3. What did I have down after this one? 2. And last one. We open and extend and feet and knees. Well done. Just shimmy up the mat with the knees so they're in line with the hips. Again, making sure that core's still active. We're coming up into that deadlift with that top leg. Knee and heel, knee and foot stay the same level. So we're not coming up with the knee first or the foot first. That's it, perfect. This one really gets you in that glute med. Well, let's go for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to add that extension in now. So lengthening out through the leg, increasing that lever length, and then we're going to bring the knees together and lift. So the leg comes up just above hip level. It's not a massive lift. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, nice one, and last one. Exhale, lift, bending back through that knee, bring the legs back together, give the side of that bottom a bit of a smack or a rub, whatever you need to do, and then we're going to take it into obliques on this side. So lengthening out through the legs, so in one nice straight line, coming up onto that elbow, but making sure that shoulder stays away from the ear. Lengthening through the legs. We're going to exhale as we lift. So let's just start with a couple of leg raises first before we start going into that teaser. And raise. Lift and raise. So on this next one, if you want, we can go into that teaser. So we lift the legs first. We come down to the bottom, bending through the knees if you wish, coming into teaser. Finding the floor again, bring the elbow down, and coming back into that nice long line, keeping the feet lifted away from the floor, the legs lifted away from the floor. If you want to make it harder, keep the legs straight in our teaser. Hand comes behind, elbow comes down, come back to facing the front. So let's go for 3 more. Coming up and away, legs straight or bent. I'm going to go bent because that's really hard. Hands come back, elbow goes down. We roll back onto the side of the hip, legs stay lifted. Last 2. Exhale, up, lift, chest's nice and proud. Hands come back, elbow down, and take it back onto our side. Last one, meet me up in teaser. So rolling back onto the bottom. I'll come to the side of my mat a little bit here. Into our teaser. Grabbing hold of the shins. You might need to shuffle into the middle of your mat a little bit there. And then let's go for rolling like a ball 3 times. Inhale it back. Exhale as we come up. Really try to use the core to balance at the top so we don't have to put those feet down. And last one. Well done. Bring the feet down to the floor. Well done. How are we doing for time? Right, seated exercise next. We're going to go for saw. We haven't done that one for a while. So we're going to sit on the top of the sit bones, nice and tall. Legs out, not too wide, just comfortably wide. Bringing the arms out parallel with the legs. So again, main focus here is keeping that spine nice and straight in the center. We're going to rotate and reach. Try to saw off that little toe for 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to center, restack the spine. Rotate and reach, 2, 1, and bring it back to center, nice and tall in the center. Making sure the sit bones stay anchored into the floor for this one. Try not to lift up through the hip. And inhale as we come back. So 3 little exhales, 1, 2, 3, and restack in the center. Let's go for 2 more to each side. Last ones. Back to center and last one. Bring it back to center. Arms relaxed down to the side. Working a little bit of hip mobility now. Bringing the feet onto the floor, keeping the legs out nice and wide. Hands down by the side of the bottom to begin with. We're going to roll the knees rather, down. And then you can also add a little bit of a lean in over the legs there. Bring the hands back. Bring the knees up and over to the other side. Have a little lean in. Feel that nice stretch into the glute. Hands come back, up and over. So that's your level 1 exercise there. Level 2, knees come up and over. And if we like, we're going to come up onto the knees, push into the hip there to get a nice stretch. Control it back down, but just take it at your level. So knees come up and over. You do travel a little bit on this one, so you might come away from the mat. Up and over, and push. Making sure we just add that little push in. I can't hear me cricking around there. Like I say, if you're doing level 1, we're just rolling the knees up and over and adding a little lean in. Let's go for one more to each side. Gosh, I'm really cricking and cracking over here. And the last one. Well done. Bring it back to centre. We're now going to come all the way onto our front. So we've done quite a lot of flexion exercises today. We need to equal that out with some extension and some back work. So bring the feet out nice and well, reasonably wide to the corners of the mat really. And then we're just going to allow the heels to roll towards each other so the knees are facing outwards, and then just bring the heels back up and over. So think about that ball and socket joint. We're moving that femur within that ball and socket joint. And then bring the heels to face one another, so we're externally rotating. You'll feel a little bit of engagement in the glutes there. Pushing that pubic bone down into the floor. Arms are going to come down to the side, palms facing up towards the ceiling, and just relax the forehead down onto the mat. And let the shoulders just flop forwards. We're going to take an inhale breath, so slightly pushing that pubic bone down into the floor. We're going to turn the hands in towards the thighs and then lift up with the shoulders. So we're protracting the shoulders and lifting up away from the floor. Head and shoulders come up. And then inhale, coming all the way down. Let those shoulders relax at the bottom. Exhale, we're going to lift them away from the floor first. Slide those hands down towards the knees. Keep the gaze down to the floor so the neck stays nice and long. And then relax the shoulders down. So palms facing up when we relax. Palms turn in as we lift. Core switched on as well. So really draw that tummy button towards the spine. Protect that lower back. We're just simply working that upper spine. So on this next one, we're going to stay lifted. Palms facing towards the thighs. We're hovering. It's not a massive lift. We're then going to turn the palms towards the floor and bring the arms out level with the shoulders. Just hovering the hand and the arm above the mat. And then bring it back. Palms towards the thighs. And then bring it back out. Hover the arms. If it's too much, just slide the fingers along the floor. So we're just working those shoulders. Keeping that pubic bone pressed down into the floor. And last one. Now we're going to bring the arms all the way around to the front into our dive position. So you'll feel that in the shoulders and then just relax down onto the floor. So the last exercise we're going to do is swimming. A bit of spine work. So bring the heels back to facing the ceiling so we're not externally rotating. Again, engaging through the core, pushing that pubic bone down to the floor. Level one, Raising right arm, left leg, keeping it as straight as possible. So squeeze of that left glute, lift up with that right arm, and then go with the opposite side. Exhale, lift, keeping the hips down on the floor. Push those hips into the mat, lift and lower. Lift and lower. That's your level 1. Level 2, we're coming up with both arms and both legs, working the whole of that posterior chain and lowering back down. Exhale, lift, squeeze the glutes, push those hips down into the floor, keep those arms and legs nice and straight. Really important if we spend a lot of the day sat, perhaps at a desk, really strengthening the spine, working those postural muscles. Let's go for 3, 2, lift, lengthen, and last one, inhale, breath, exhale, breath, we're coming up, we're going to hover, lengthen, and lower it back down. Well done. Bringing the hands, nobody likes swimming, but it's really good exercise. Pushing up onto all fours, bring the knees to underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. Take an inhale breath here as we exhale. We're going to push up into the spine, really tuck that tailbone under, scoop the tummy button up, and then bring it back into the heels. So keep the tummy lifted away from the thighs. Get that nice stretch into the lower back. Just hold it there for a few more seconds. And release. Well done. Whew, let's have a nice stretch. So let's start with some seated stretches. So again, sat nice and tall on the sit bones. Going to bring the legs out in front and then bending through the right knee. So the right foot's the inside of the left leg, left knee. Right hand comes behind the body, fingers pointing away. Lift up through the chest, crown of the head towards the ceiling. We're going to bring the left arm up towards the ceiling and then coming across the body, elbow to the outside of that right knee. And then we're going to turn the head to look over the right shoulder, pushing into that left knee. Get a really nice bit of rotation, nice close stretch there into the spine. And hold. 3, 2, 1, and release back to center. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So bring that left foot up. I always get a bit confused with my left and right when we're doing all these funny. Yeah, left foot up to the inside of the right knee. Left hand comes away, fingers point away. Again, lift up through the chest. Right arm comes up towards the ceiling. Coming across, up and over, turning the head. Have a look over that shoulder, pushing into that knee. Rotating through the spine. Hold it there. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to center. Bringing both feet up. Let's just stretch the hips out now. So bringing the soles of the feet together, grabbing hold of the toes, grabbing hold of the feet, and then just leaning over the feet. Bring that body weight over the feet. And if you want to just deepen that stretch, just put a bit of pressure with the elbows, easing those knees out to the side. And release. Well done. Then just bringing the legs out nice and wide. Let's get a really good stretch into those obliques after those awful teaser things I made you do. So right hand out in front, spread the fingers, left arm up towards the ceiling, And then we're going to bring that left arm, left hand over towards that right foot. As we do that, just walk the right hand as far away from the body as we can, just to pull the shoulder through and take the gaze up towards the ceiling. So you should feel a really nice lengthening into that left side of the waist. Just pull that shoulder through, holding for 3, 2, and 1, coming back to center. Same on the other side, so left hand out in front, spread the fingers, right arm comes up towards the ceiling first, and then bring the hand down towards that left foot, and just walk the hands away, bring that shoulder through, take the gaze up. And then bring it back to center. Well done. Coming down to our fronts now. We'll stretch out with a nice cobra stretch. So again, bring the feet out nice and wide. Just relax the bottom, relax the legs for this one. Hands underneath the shoulders, elbows in nice and tight. Take an inhale breath as we exhale. Pushing into the palms of the hands, so coming up. Hips stay down on the floor. Gaze goes towards the end of the mat. So just feel that stretch down the front of the body. And then just lower it down slightly. We're going to come up onto the knee. So just brace the core, protect that lower spine. As we fold it back between the heels, you can widen out a little bit through the legs there if you like. And just really lower that upper body down into the floor. And then just start to walk the hands back towards the knees. We're going to come up onto the knees now, do a nice hip flexor stretch. So into a standing kneel, we're going to bring the right foot out in front, so the heel's directly underneath the knee. Really simple stretch, quite a hard thing to stretch out the hip flexor. So really just tuck that tailbone under. You'll instantly feel a nice stretch down that left hip. We're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Nice deep inhale breath as the arms come up. And then exhale. Bring the arms down to the side, still tucking that tailbone under. And then I want you to bring the chin towards the chest and round the shoulders forward. So into a slouch. You'll just feel a bit of a deeper pull there into that left hip flexor. They can get really tight and weak. And then release. Doing exactly the same on the other side. So right knee down, left foot comes up. Again, tuck that tailbone under to get that instant stretch. Bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Next deep inhale. And then exhale, bring the arms down. And then round those shoulders forward. Dip the head down. Feel that lovely pull down that right hip. And release. Well done. Coming down onto all fours. Pretty much bang on time for once. Knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders. Let's take it into our cat stretch. Exhale, breath. Really scoop that tailbone under. Get the stretch into the lower back as well as the top part of the spine. And let's take it through neutral. So just start to lower, keep the elbows soft, take the gaze towards the end of the mat, squeeze those shoulder blades together, stick out the bottom. Inhale, breath, we're going back into our cat again, scooping up. And then back into the cow stretch, so elbows soft, gentle squeeze of those shoulder blades, stick out the bottom behind. And then return it back to a neutral spine. So lots of length into the spine there. Toes turn underneath. Have a little sit back into the heels first. Inhale, breath, and as we exhale, knees come up away from the floor, the legs lengthen, heels come down into the mat. Get that stretch into the calf. Nice deep breath. And then just slowly start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Try not to lock out the knees. Hopefully a little bit closer to the floor than we were at the beginning. Just let everything flop. Relax the arms, relax the neck, relax the forehead. And take an inhale breath here. As we exhale, draw up through that pelvic floor. Draw the tummy button towards the spine. And just slowly start to roll. Back up. Just let those arms dangle. Back out. Nice and slowly rebuild. And when we reach the top, some really big shoulder